Boy, just be yourself. If people don't like it if you're being yourself, fuck them.
It's Big Los.
Hollywood Kev.
And welcome to another episode of The Noize for Black Podcast Month.
You know, I had somebody say that they were going to get us like a little soundboard thing for hand claps.
You know what? Do it. God damn it, don't talk about it, be about it. I want to see it. People have been saying they're going to get some shit for this, and I don't see it. But anyway, if you haven't yet, go ahead, follow us on the Big Three, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Noize Podcast. Follow everything Beat Network on beatnetworkonline.com. We say it at the end of the episode, but, you know, shout out to iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Did I say Spotify already?
No.
Okay, them. And every major streaming platform that you can find The Noize and all things Beat Network on. We still appreciate y'all for picking us up. But again, this is Black Podcast Month, week 3 of Black Podcast Month.
It is week 3.
Yeah, man, we got one more after this.
Yeah.
Which is, it's been a great month, man.
Absolutely.
It's been a really good month. A lot of really good interviews, especially the one that we got coming up right now with our guy, JuniorTheTruth. If you're not a boxing fan, still listen because it's still a solid fucking episode.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's a lot of good conversation. It's laughs. And, you know, the best way to put it is really good man talk.
I was about to say, it's real nigga shit.
It's real nigga shit. Absolutely. But of course, we wanted to drop in and let you guys know February 28th, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are still doing.
You just said specific.
I know that's because I was listening to the last episode and I was like, for the ignorant ones, you know, specific. But I think that's just gonna be my go-to from now on.
Specific.
So 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure y'all lock in with
about
us.
What time?
Very specific timing. Make sure y'all lock in with us on our Noize live cast. This will be our first of hopefully many.
I'm so hyped for that.
We'll be putting out the actual visual announcement probably next week or maybe even this week.
One of the two. Well, this week's about over.
This week's about over. You're absolutely
so
right.
Probably early next week.
Early next week, we put it out. So make sure y'all share that. But yeah, we'll be doing our first live cast where we are going to be communicating with all the ear hustlers that, you know, love and support this. Mm-hmm. And anybody that just want to jump in and talk shit, tell us that we're wrong, tell us that we're right. You know, we really don't care.
And we're going to have a lot of shit to talk about too.
There's going to be a lot of shit to talk about because as you've seen, this month.
Yeah, this month been popping.
Bro, we was 2 weeks in when we decided to do this live cast and was like, yo, February been
right.
lit. February been active.
Yeah.
Now here we are 3 weeks in and it's like, yo.
We got to narrow some shit down because it's too much.
The list that we came up with to talk about, I'm like, there's no way we're going to make an hour.
And that's just the list so far.
So far. We still got a whole nother week of some change left this month before we get to the 28th. So, February 28th, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the Noize live cast will be going live. You can catch that on Instagram, Facebook Live, and YouTube. This isn't going to be an audio episode. It's going to be strictly a live cast.
Yep.
So you can only see it on the social media. So definitely make sure y'all follow us at the Noize Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Does Twitter even have a live option?
No.
I didn't think they did.
Nah, they don't.
I didn't think they did. They need to get one because goddamn it, they would have been able to jump on the live cast too.
Yeah, they could.
It's going to be a great time.
They're going to miss out, but it's all right.
Now, it's funny because with the guy that we have on the show today, JuniorTheTruth of the JuniorTheTruth brand and his multiple shows he has on there, he always goes live with his shows. And he always does amazing numbers. Then the people, they double back and watch it. Mm-hmm. The conversations that go on in his live casts are crazy. So that's one thing that gets me excited about it. And that's one thing that, you know, I applaud about Junior because he's getting it going, man. Like you're taking on all these live comments, all these live opinions. And it's kind of like, okay, well, this has been put out there. What you got to say about it? Cause we all can see what this person says. So now what you got to say about it. So shout out to JuniorTheTruth. Shout out to everyone that's been on Black Podcast Month. And yeah, man, we coming to a close. One more week of this.
One more week.
So make sure y'all stay locked in with us. But without further ado, let's get into it. JuniorTheTruth. Hashtag Black Pod Month. Boom. Yes, sir, ladies and gentlemen. It is still Black Podcast Month here on The Noize. And I'm going to say this out after every guest, no matter who the hell's coming on, no matter what. We have a very special guest in the building, but this gentleman is different. He is a podcaster. Mm-hmm. He's a live caster. Mm-hmm. He is a showrunner.
Talk about it.
He's also a sports news reporter.
Mm-hmm. Jack of all trades.
He's a jack of all trades when it comes down to this independent podcasting industry. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of the listeners that come from the Ohio area. They're definitely going to know who this is. As he says it himself, Ohio-born, player-made. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for JuniorTheTruth. What's going on with your family?
Man, what's going on, family? I appreciate it, man. You got me over here, man. I'm looking for somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, golly, I'm looking for somebody else.
Hey, man, it took some time. Definitely happy to have you on, man. I've been following what you've been doing for a minute, and it's crazy because when I got started with Beat, I think you just got started with the JuniorTheTruth brand. I can't even say the show, the brand itself. There's like 30 shows under this one brand.
Facts.
And I finally caught on to it probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I was like, oh shit, Big Cal out here doing this thing. And then it just kept racking up, and I'm seeing all this different things, and we want to touch on all of it as well, sir. But how are you doing on this fine afternoon?
Man, I'm blessed, man. It's all good, man. I'm just so glad to get in here. You know what I mean? And get the opportunity to chop it up with you all, man. I'm so very proud of you. You know what I mean? I follow what it is that you do, man. And you guys, you boys are working. You know what I'm saying? You are working. And I want to thank you just for doing this because it is, so important, man. It is so important for us to support each other, you know, as independent media outlets, especially black ones. It is very important for us to, you know, support one another and, you know, be able to, you know, acknowledge one another and build, you know what I mean? As well as just, you know, chop it up. You know what I mean? So I thank you for doing this, man. I really, truly appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. Now, like I said, man, we appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really couldn't wait to have this conversation. We'll get into the logistics of the JuniorTheTruth brand, but as I told you prior to the show, I have to have a story, especially when I know the people personally. So my introduction to Junior was during the college days. He was actually the RD, the room director at the university.
Okay.
And we had RDs before. Junior came through and was like, listen, I'm not dealing with no disrespect. And if anybody feel as if, you know, they got a problem with what I do or how I get done, and I'll never forget this phrase, you can meet me in the grass.
That's the realest shit ever. That's real.
Bro, let me tell you. But I was like, wait. Because there's a bunch of niggas out here that really think that they was on some super tough shit. Right. Super tough guys, you know what I'm saying? So to really hear the RD that's like, nah, if you got a problem with
we
me,
can really do this,
and you really want to, like, you know, escalate it to something different, trust and believe. We can meet in the grass. We can settle this. We can make this happen. And by then, I'm like, this is officially my favorite RD ever to ever come here. He was the last RD I had before I moved off campus, and I'm like, this dude's the truth.
Oh, man.
He is absolutely the truth.
I
have to ask, so did anybody ever take you up on that?
Man, I had one gentleman, man, I can't remember his name. He was one of the dudes from Detroit who he acted like he wanted to go there with me until I, you know, gave him his individual invitation to come on out, and he didn't, you know what I mean? And it's, you know, it's fun times, man. I'm so thankful, you know, for those times, man. But you got to understand, like, I was coming into that position, bro. I worked at a prison, and that was my first job in higher ed. And I'm so thankful for that opportunity. But I was coming from a prison setting. And that was pretty much how I carried it with my inmates. I was a chemical dependency counselor. So I didn't write up, you know what I mean, my inmates or, you know, do all that kind of stuff, man. I would bring them in my office and close the door, you know what I mean? And if we need to get active, we can get active. It never got there, thank goodness. But, you know, at the same time, you know, it's just genuinely out of love. You know what I mean? And then too, you know, you guys have some knuckleheads, man. You know, everybody a thug when they go to school. You know what I mean? They want to go to college and recreate themselves and be hoodlums and, you know, so on and so forth. So that was my real introduction. And then too, man, you know, we don't deal well with disrespect, man. You know what I mean? We don't deal well with that. But I appreciate that, man. That's funny, bro.
Listen, once we became RAs at the school, we was basically on the same shit. Like, look, we here to do our job. We here to make sure our tuition, our room and board is set up.
Right.
If any of you niggas put that in jeopardy,
we have a problem.
Yeah, facts.
We are going to handle that.
Facts. Yeah, we're going
point blank period.
We're going to get straight to it,
It's
bro.
been straight to it, exactly. It's been nothing but respect. So it's crazy that you went from telling these students, like, nah, if you want a problem, we can have a problem, to now you cover boxing.
Yes, indeed.
It just kind of it seemed like a seamless transition.
Yeah, it was in a roundabout way, man. In a roundabout way. The funny thing is, boxing's always been a love of mine, man. I've always loved boxing. I had an uncle who boxed, and you know, my father and other uncles were always around the sport, around the gym. So I was kind of brought up in that, you know what I mean? And, you know, I was raised by a single father. So, you know, learning how to defend yourself was a must. My daddy was one of them, you know, you go fight him, and if he beat your ass, I'm gonna beat your ass, you know, type of situation, you know, in my upbringing. So I you know, we weren't really allowed to back down from too much. Not that I was, you know, a super thug or it's none of that, you know what I'm saying? Cause like I said, I was raised by a single father, which, let me park there. My daddy raised me, you know what I mean? Like my mom left. I was raised by a single father. So that's the people are always, you know, they get tripped up by that. And I really, really hold that in a very high regard. I hold my father in a very high regard. That's why I carry the moniker Junior and JuniorTheTruth, you know what I'm saying? Cause I'm a Jew, there's another, you know what I'm saying? And now I have a son, so there's, you know, 3 of us. But, so you can't tell me about what a black man can and can't do. You know what I'm saying? My father worked as a black man, a single black man, and he was a teenage father when I was born. And my father worked and he raised me as a single black man. So I know they like to, you know, they like to muddy up the waters and stuff with regard to black men and how we love our children and what we will and won't do for our families and so on and so forth. But I was raised by a single black man. You feel me? So, you know what I mean? But anyway, that's just what that was. So I always been around the sport. So it was easy. It's easy. I always followed it. So it's easy to cover it. Very easy.
So with your relationship with your father, is that what led to you to kind of cover boxing? Do you think that has something to do with it?
Man, actually, I'm a former athlete. I've always been around sports. And so my platform originally was formed in an effort to cover, to give black athletes a fair shake with regard to their coverage in the media. I've always hung my moniker out there that I'm an independent media outlet, and my whole objective was to be fair and objective when covering black athletes, because that's not something that we see. In my doctorate program at the University of Louisville, my department chair basically asked me, you know what I mean? Asked me, did I do any blogging or, you know, writings or whatever with regard to, you know, sports? And I said no. And then she suggested that I do it. Like, I suggest that you do that because you have a gift, you know, blah, 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 because I'm always in class and I'm challenging, you know what I mean? Always challenging the status quo, and we're learning about all this stuff as it relates to sports. And I'm always coming back to, or I was always going back to, you know, the impact of the black athletes on the collegiate level and the professional level, and things that are set up, you know what I mean, that are pitfalls, and that sports is just a microcosm of society as a whole. When you look at the way that the black athletes are viewed, and the way that they're, you know, the way that they're treated, and the stories that you see that are released on them, and so on and so forth, it's just a microcosm of our society here in America, period, and really globally, but for all intents and purposes here in America. And so, she was just like, you really need to start doing that. The next thing you know, I was just podcasting, and I was reading books and researching and going through the same thing I'm sure that y'all went through, where you're kind of talking yourself, you're planning and you want everything to be perfect, and you realize that, you know what I'm saying, either you that
this shit is not easy.
It's not easy. But then also, you know, you'll talk yourself out some shit. You know what I'm saying? You talk yourself out some shit, and it's like, either you gonna tie your fucking shoe, or, excuse my language, you're gonna tie your shoe, or you're going to think about how you're gonna tie your shoe. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of the two. And so you just pick up and you just start going. And that's kind of how, you know what I mean? My brand was kind of, as you call it, my brand was kind of born, man.
Oh, and good brother. So I know you said apologize for your language. Just want to put this out there so you
feel
good.
Yeah, you good.
Please feel free. Shoot. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to say, nah, you good.
Like, whatever you want to say, man, this is definitely the platform to do so. I know you already do it on your platform. And again, for the people that may not be familiar with the JuniorTheTruth platform, he talks sports. He talks, you know, being a man. He talks real life in the most raw, rugged way, you know, that he could possibly come across.
As it should be.
So, you know, I definitely love tuning in to everything that you're doing. So I guess we should start with breaking down the actual shows. I'm going to start where I started off.
Okay.
the All Hustle No Luck live cast. Tell the people a little more about that and how I got started and everything.
Yes, indeed. So the All Hustle No Luck live cast is basically my weekly. It's a full on slot internet radio show, and it takes place once a week, and it's Thursdays 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the show is live via my YouTube channel, as well as I have a mobile app. Then you can tune in via the mobile app as well. And it's just basically, man, an opportunity for me to kind of step out of the sports realm. And I talk a lot about cultural issues, current events, things that are going on. I mean, breaking news. A lot of times, we start one place and we end up somewhere else. It is a live show with live chats. So I'm actually interacting with the listeners, which is for me is an opportunity for me to do what I do in its purest form, because I get to actually engage the listeners. The podcasting and stuff is cool for me, and that's why I started and I love it. But the interaction with your listeners in the form of podcasting is kind of an afterthought. You know what I'm saying? The interaction is after I've already said what I said, and so on and so forth. And it's something about being more conversational and me getting an opportunity to get in there with the listeners and engage them and allow the conversations to just lead and go wherever they're going to go. So that is, you know what I mean? The All Hustle No Luck is just, I'm driven by, we use certain terminology where I'm from. We talk about hustling. And then, I had a coach who said that, he used to always talk about, luck, and that luck was basically luck is just where opportunity meets preparation. And that's just where I live my life. Luck doesn't really exist. You know what I'm saying? It's what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? If you're prepared, you know what I'm saying, and an opportunity presents itself, then you create your own luck. You know what I mean? And so I've kind of, indoctrinated into the way that I live my life. And, it's just this, there's this saying that, it's, all hustle and no luck where we're from. And, I just kind of, took that moniker and ran with it. And so that's the internet radio show. Once again, it's once a week only. You know what I mean? I don't think there's a lot that goes into it, man. Emotionally, you know what I mean? It can be draining at times and so on and so forth. So I don't think I could really do that more than once a week, but, that's that show.
Okay. And since we're opening up the Junior the Truth umbrella, Punch Junkie. Talk about that.
Yes, indeed.
I definitely hear that it's a boxing show. So talk about that.
Yes, indeed. So it's the Punch Junkie is in the boxing community, a lot of people don't understand that the sport of boxing is very, very tribal. It's very, very segregated. Mainstream media outlets, sports outlets don't cover boxing. They don't give boxing a fair shake. So boxing, all of the coverage and stuff for the sport of boxing resides on the internet. Boxing in 2019, 2018 and beyond resides on the internet. So you get, like you have the ESPN, they halfway cover boxing. Even the big boxing entities like, Ring Magazine and some of the other people, I don't want to say their names, but some of the other, boxing entities that have larger platforms, they don't necessarily cover boxing in its purest form. So it resides on the internet. And so I have a following anywhere between 1,000 to maybe 1,200 people who, tune in just for boxing. You know what I mean? And so, it was easy for me to kind of do an early morning segment. I usually record because I had to commute. I had about an hour commute to my job. So I would usually record in my car, and it kind of just transitioned to me doing it every day. And I said, you know what? So I wanted to brand it. And so I just came up with the Punch Junkie. And I also built a website to go with it, which is www.punchjunkie.com. And that website is basically full of current events that are taking place in the sport of boxing. It's boxing news ongoing around the clock. And then the show is every morning, at 7:30 a.m. and that's Eastern Standard Time. So, we kind of get that, people on their way to work or just now getting to work, getting settled in. We get on there. I usually rock for about 45 minutes to an hour, and we're just kind of in and out like a robbery and get your day set off.
Now, I normally catch this show when I'm on my way into my early morning shift. So he's saying it's like 7, 8 o'clock. Let me remind y'all, this is Ohio
This
time.
is East Coast time.
So on my end, it's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm making my way into my early morning shift.
Right.
And let me tell you, this is the most wake you up live chat that's going on. Like you already got Junior who's just, who's firing off. Cause again, much respect, brother. He don't give a fuck. Like,
and it seems like you don't give a fuck and you can't whoop him.
And you can't whoop. Exactly. Don't give a fuck and you can't whoop me. So that's what's gonna come down to. And that's really the approach of it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you see the conversation and then, inside the actual chat itself, and then he has no problem going back and forth with you. I actually kind of want to stay here for a little bit, to talk about some back and forth really quick.
Okay.
I'm not going to mention his name because, if he got a problem with you, then he got a problem with me. We don't promote dude.
Okay.
But there was somebody that when you click on the hashtag LDBC, we're also going to get to that as well. When you click on the hashtag LDBC, it seemed like y'all got a consistent hater. Like, so what's, if you don't mind talking about that, I mean, what's the deal with him? What's his issue?
Man, I'm gonna say this, man. Let me tell you a little bit of history about the LDBC. The LDBC is a group of boxing fans that was formed. They were primarily black boxing fans, and they were formed to create a boxing community where the black brothers and sisters could come together and talk, and people in general could come together and talk boxing without all of the racist innuendos. The way it used to be on the internet was you would go and you would say stuff and you might support a fighter. It might be Floyd Mayweather. So, you make a comment about Floyd Mayweather on a video and then it would be all kind of monkeys and niggers and bananas and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And the people who were the content creators wouldn't really do anything to address all of the racism that was taking place. So the group of brothers, a brother named 78 Sports TV and OG named Blood Boxing, he goes by Retro Boxing and Documentaries now, they came together and formed a community where they just wanted to talk, pretty much amongst themselves and other people who wanted to talk boxing. Okay. So that kind of formulated to now we have, over 100 brothers actually participating, and this is global. It's over 100 brothers all over the globe actually participating, creating content. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the content creators. I think our reach is probably well over 1 million with regard to brothers who create content as well as those who consume the content. Rather they consume it, or actively engage. I won't just say consume because they consume content. They like, they comment, they share, they subscribe, all of that kind of stuff. And basically what it has formed into was once again just being an extension of an actual collective effort of individuals who want to talk boxing and now who also want to make sure that fighters are getting a fair shake, in particular the black ones, because the black ones don't get the fair shakes as the other ones, as we all know. So that, with that being said, so we get a lot of attention and there's a lot of content that's coming from the LDBC. The LDBC is doing a lot of work. So now what you'll have people who rise up against the LDBC, whether they're white people who, have racist undertones, who just come up against anything black. Anytime a group of brothers can come together and work collectively, they come up against that. And you also have brothers who want to just antagonize the LDBC, which causes their platform to grow because they find favor with other people who antagonize the LDBC, like other black folks who antagonize the LDBC, as well as the white racists. They say, look, he's cool, so on and so forth. An example, the best thing I could tell you, bruh, is being Greek. When we're Greek, you have the bruhs, you know what I'm saying? You have other people that are in other organizations, right? Then you have the GDIs, man. You had the individuals who didn't do whatever, you know what I'm saying? The individuals are always the ones who have something to say about the Greeks. Oh, I didn't want to do that because of this. I didn't want to do that because of that, so on and so forth. That's the same thing with these, the brothers who are not a part of the LDBC who choose to antagonize, the LDBC. So that's just kind of how that is, man. Now, my problem go ahead, bro.
I'm gonna say it's like clout chasing. Ain't that what they call it? The new kids call it now clout chasing?
Clout chasing, yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, facts. And so my problem with it, Los, I'm going to tell you the honest to God truth, brothers. I'm going to tell y'all the truth. My problem with it, and I can announce it here like I tell it on my platform. I'm not an internet dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm not an internet dude. So like the internet beefs that going back and forth and so on and so forth, it's some shit that you can say to me that will cause me to pop up on you like a State Farm agent. You feel me? Like it'll cause me to like really truly pop up.
Like a good neighbor.
Yeah, I will be there. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to have that same energy and you got to talk that same shit that you're talking when you see me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I mean, and you know, I travel a lot. I'm everywhere. And then and it's also no different than this, Los. It's kind of like if I had somebody who was heckling me in Vegas, right? And you're in Vegas, from Vegas, you know, and you call me like, big bro, what's up with this dude you got this issue with? You know, he out here in Vegas, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, Los, you know, don't, you know, trip. So that's how it is. So I have people who call me from Philadelphia or who call me from New York. I'm talking about my people, not like my subs from the internet. I'm talking about family members, thoroughbreds, street niggas. Right. You know what I'm saying? School teachers, twerkers, everybody. They'll call and they'll be like, yo, this nigga over here.
All hands on deck.
Yeah, I know he live right around. You know what I'm saying? And so like, I try not to get into that. And I beg my subscribers not to like tag me in that stuff when these dudes say these things, or, you know, a lot of dudes are starting to kind of bite little pieces of what we do, you know what I mean, on my platform. And I just ask that they don't, you know, tag me in that, and I just let them cook and they do their thing. But it gets wild, man. I mean, some of these trolls, they've taken pictures of some of the brothers' families, made videos. They made videos of one of the brothers' daughters. And man, bruh.
Damn. But you know what, though? It's funny that you mentioned that. The internet is crazy. And it's funny because it actually just reminded me that I told this story, I want to say about a year and some change ago. And I did want to ask you about this. So I remember on one of your videos, you were talking about how you had this consistent troll. Like he kept getting at you, kept saying just a bunch of wild shit. You hit him on the DM like, look, so-and-so from this address and this phone number. Yeah. Mother's name is so-and-so, father's name is so-and-so.
Not playing with you.
You might want to chill because you could be found.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, people think that, you know, there's not a lot of, anonymousness to the internet. You know what I'm saying? All a person has to do is just do research and pull your IP address. If you pull a person's IP address, you can pinpoint their geographic location, like down to the centimeter. And so that troll was one of those guys. He was racist. He was a Hispanic. He had a problem because I was speaking out against, Canelo Alvarez and Oscar De La Hoya. You know what I mean? Because of like a lot of racism, a lot of, racist stuff that came out of the Golden Boy promotions. And so he had a problem with that. And he just was consistently like, he would just hit me up like, hey, good morning, bitch. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
oh, yo.
I'm like every day, you know what I'm saying? And so I got people, you know what I'm saying? You got people that work for the government or, you know, private investigators or whatever the case may be. So I just gave them dudes, the information I could find, which was his username and his social media handle, because he had one account attached to his username. And so from there, I was able to get, my people were able to get his IP address and all of that stuff. And I got his address, where he worked, where he went to high school, his real name, his job, his mama's name, pictures of his house, pictures of his family, all of that stuff. So I'm like putting in the chat room. He just picked on me that day. And I just sent all the stuff. I said his real name. So when I said, oh, good morning, and I said his real name. So when I said his real name, he's like, man, what the fuck you talking about? You know, that kind of thing. Then I showed a picture of his house, and I showed his mom, and I showed where he worked. You know what I'm saying? I showed a picture of him. And then then my message to him was like, look, bro, on this internet, you got people that don't want no problems. You got people that are not going to kill nothing or let nothing die, even though they're going to talk all the shit in the world, but they're not going to kill nothing or let nothing die. Then you got sharks in the water. You feel me? Then there's sharks in the water, and you don't know who you're coming across. So the best thing you can do, man, is just leave people the fuck alone. And then I just said something else like, if you say one more word to me, I'm going to come up to your house. I'm going to pull up at your house. I'm going to pull your tongue out and slap it in front of your mama. And I said his mama's name. You know what I'm saying? And he deactivated his accounts and shit. I ain't seen him no more. You know what I mean? But it's wild.
I learned that playing on Xbox 360. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you get all them saying crazy shit in the little chats or whatever. But when it's real, yeah, they
But it's
don't
an
want
actual
no
problem. Exactly.
Yeah, I noticed on your platforms you mentioned Deontay Wilder a lot. Like, you champion him big, which is dope to me because I'm a fan of dudes as well. How'd you feel about that Wilder and Tyson Fury fight?
I think the first fight, I actually thought, without any shadow of a doubt, I guess I'm okay with the draw because I have to be, because that's what we got. I felt that Anthony Joshua, see, look at that, I'm programmed. I felt that Deontay Wilder won, because, I thought with the 2 knockdowns, as well as you had rounds, you had, Tyson Fury boxed beautifully. He boxed beautifully. He did really well. I don't think he did enough to beat the champ. And I think that there were a lot of swing rounds in there that he got credit for just for the mere fact that he didn't get knocked the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? But there were like several swing rounds. So you got the 2 rounds that he got knocked down. And then there might have been about 4 swing rounds that, could have been, I don't think he won. You know what I'm saying? I really don't think he won. And I think, like I said, he boxed beautifully. He got up from the knockdowns and stuff like that. I don't think he beat the champ. I actually thought he lost. Nowhere in the world will a world champion knock somebody down twice, never get knocked down himself, and actually lose a fight. So the mere thought that Tyson Fury won the fight is in another stratosphere. I can't understand that mindset at all. Also, the common vibe from the outcome of this fight is that Tyson Fury won because he didn't lose. You feel me? And so, like, people are treating Tyson Fury like he won. It's no, bro. It was a draw. You know what I'm saying? There was no winner. There was no loser. It was a draw. But because he didn't get knocked out, because that's what Deontay Wilder does, he knocks people out. Because of that, it was this thing that Tyson Fury actually won. But it'll get cleaned up in the rematch. When we get this rematch, it'll get cleaned up.
Oh yeah, I do believe that. I do believe if there is once there is a rematch, Wilder's gonna put him down. That first fight though, it was interesting. It was interesting. I guess with the results, you gotta kind of take, okay, he ain't lose, but he ain't win either. Right. But I do see your point on it. Me personally, I kind of am leaning towards Tyson Fury, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It's tough for me. It's tough for me. But hearing your side of it, I haven't heard that side before, and you're making a lot of sense. So I can definitely see it.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, like I said, it's real difficult. Like I said, the draw is, the draw kind of is what it is. I thought that, well, really, truly, you know what I mean, and and this is all technically speaking, and being on the conspiracy theory side, Tyson Fury was knocked out. He didn't beat the count. You know what I'm saying? And that was real, fishy in the 12th round and all that kind of stuff. But he did get up and he did box beautifully. You know what I'm saying? And he finished out the fight. He stayed on his feet. Deontay Wilder was depleted at that point. He touched him up real good. So like I said, I thought it was an incredible fight. I thought it was a clash of titans, man. It was beautiful. I thought that Deontay Wilder boxed horribly. I thought he boxed horribly. I thought he was running around looking for big shots. Tyson Fury was able to move, definitely able to move, able to control the distance. He was able to control the fight. He was able to control Deontay Wilder with feints. And Wilder didn't use his jab. I mean, Wilder pissed his corner off. You know what I'm saying? He pissed his trainer off because he didn't use his jab. He didn't do anything. Everything that he could possibly do wrong, I feel he did, except for lose the fight.
Right. I agree with that. I agree. I will say the next fight though, Tyson Fury is going to get knocked out.
The next fight
is a wrap.
The next fight is going to be all Deontay Wilder doing what the Bronze Bomber does best. You know what I mean? And a lot of conversations, I've even had this conversation with you, Kev. I look and y'all can let me know if I'm wrong. Which is fine. But when I look at Deontay Wilder box, I see a lot of George Foreman in him, and that's in that case, it's exciting, but it's also scary because once it's time to go to distance, fatigue becomes a bitch.
I will say I did see that in this particular fight. Once they went the distance, he looked a little tired. He looked tired.
So he's definitely one of the ones that got to end it early.
Yeah, the thing about Deontay Wilder is, he's gone a distance with Romain Stavern. He's gone a distance with, and now Tyson Fury is the second time. I think the good thing about Deontay Wilder, one of his attributes actually is his conditioning. He comes in under 220. He's usually around like 215 or so. He doesn't do traditional, cardio work. He does a lot of swimming. You know what I mean? He does a lot of, makeshift strength and conditioning, not the traditional stuff. And his conditioning is really good, which is like, if you look at the Luis King Kong Ortiz fight, that's kind of what happened. King Kong got tired in the later rounds and then he snuffed him out. Yeah. If you look at the Arthur Spilka fight, it was the same thing. Spilka outboxed Deontay Wilder through the whole fight. Then he got touched. Gerald Washington, it was the same thing. So Deontay Wilder is what makes him dangerous is that he can stop you from round 1 to round 12, which is what we saw in the Fury fight, because he knocked Fury down in the 12th. He still has the same power and he's still dangerous. That's something that's uncommon. When you look at Anthony Joshua, for instance, for those of us who know who Anthony Joshua is, cause, you know, a lot of people don't know him over here, but he's the heavyweight champion who has the other 3 belts. And, he's from the UK. And Anthony Joshua,
he's big overseas, definitely.
Yeah, he has a really good following in the UK. But the money is in America. You know what I mean? And that's why he's coming to fight in America in June. But anyway, so he gets tired in like the 4th round. He's usually about somewhere between 230 to 250. He's cock diesel, has a lot of muscle, you know what I mean? A lot of muscle mass and so on and so forth. And he gets tired, very, very tired. And that's just a very, very dangerous. Deontay Wilder is a very, dangerous fight for him because he gets tired. And Deontay Wilder is not the person you want to be tired with when you get in the ring. You know what I'm saying? So
hell no.
But even with him, once he gets tired, the thing that I think makes him dangerous is once he gets tired, he can still put you on your ass.
He gets tired, but then he gets into survival mode. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like, I was already boxing you, you know what I'm saying, to win. Now I'm boxing you to make sure I don't lose.
Right.
Which is still just as dangerous and just as scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How did you, as an Ohio man, how did you feel about AB and Pacquiao?
Man, I thought that AB, and this is me honestly speaking, I thought AB looked good. I thought he did a lot to make Pacquiao, miss. I think that a lot of the shots that Pacquiao was getting credit for didn't land. I still don't think AB won the fight. I still had Pacquiao winning the fight. I do think that AB, like I said, I think he looked good, and I'm looking forward to seeing some more of him. He just has to, he really truly has to figure out what his style is, man. You know, everybody says it's common for everybody to say, you know, he doesn't let his hands go. He doesn't let his hands go and all that kind of stuff. And I understand, but I still, within that Pacquiao fight, I understood what he was doing. He was looking for opportunities to counter Pacquiao. He was trying to make Pacquiao miss, which he did. But still at the same time, there was I needed him to go in there and make Pacquiao look like an old man. Pacquiao is a 40-year-old man.
He needs to
soon to be 41. You know what I'm saying? I think he just turned 40. He's a 40-year-old man. There's nothing athletic that a 40-year-old man should be doing with a 28-year-old man. And with Adrian Broner being bigger, hitting harder, having more conditioning, being a younger fighter, I needed him to go in there and walk straight to Pacquiao, and he didn't. I needed him to go in there and make Pacquiao feel, oh, bro, I'm 40. You feel me? That shit, it hurts. You know what I'm saying? It hurts. So I know what Pacquiao goes through. You know what I'm saying? Even as a well-conditioned athlete, you know what I mean? It's different. You're not the same at 40 as you were at 22, 23 and so on and so 30, 35. It's not the same. And Adrian Broner just didn't get it done, man. He talks a lot of shit, which is why he's still one of the biggest draws in the sport of boxing. He's still going to be one of the biggest draws in the sport of boxing. But I'm shitty with AB right now, man. I'm shitty with him with regard to this whole Gucci situation, to be honest with you. I'm shitty with him, and I think I'm going to black him out on my platform, as hard as that's going to be, because I'm an AB fanatic. But I'm gonna have to block him out, man, because these dudes. Well, not only that, the Gucci thing, but he also had a statement last weekend where he said black people don't support him. And I thought that was the most craziest asinine shit I've ever heard in my life.
We're the only ones that support him.
I didn't even know he said that.
Yeah,
I thought it was just Floyd that was doing the Gucci thing. I ain't know.
But you know, he also follows a lot of Floyd's footsteps, and that's actually what I was gonna bring up with that fight. I noticed, you know, he turns that shoulder in the same way that Floyd does, but he just doesn't have that counterpunch ability that he has. Mm-hmm. Had he had that counterpunching ability, I still kind of think the fight would have still went to Pacquiao, only because Pacquiao is a very, you know what I'm saying, hands up, you know, and run in mentality. But I feel like if his counterpunching was better, then we would have really seen an actual, you know, debatable fight.
I think it was just like the second fight where we seen AB not do what we believe he can do.
Right, exactly. Well, we've seen him do at one point in time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's AB does the defense and the shoulder roll thing. He's been notorious for trying to emulate Floyd Mayweather. When Adrian Broner was at his best, when he was at the 130, 135 pound divisions, and he was beating the shit out of people, and he was passing out ass beatings, AB ass beatings. When he was passing those out, he was an offensive fighter. He was not gun shy. What happened with him was he jumped up 2 weight divisions and he moved up and fought an ill-advised fight versus Maidana, and he got knocked. That's the fight he got knocked down twice and he got hurt. You know what I'm saying? And so I think now when he's in the ring and he feels the power and he feels that his somebody can actually hurt him, because Pacquiao hurt him a couple times. When he feels that, he doesn't want to go back to that place, I think, where he was against Maidana, so he kind of is gun shy. But I don't want to do all this talking about boxing, man. I can do that all day.
All right. Well, I have one more boxing question, and then I gotta holler at my man's hustles.
Okay.
I gotta see what's good with him.
Okay.
But one thing with me that me and Kev has talked about before is it took a long time for the heavyweight division to get back to an entertaining place, especially because Klitschko had the title for so fucking long.
Right.
Do you feel as if we're starting to get back to heavyweight, boxing prominence like we were back in the Lennox Lewis, Holyfield, Tyson days?
It's the potential is there. It's not quite there yet. It's not quite there yet. The potential, I think, is there. The problem is that 3 of the belts are held up by Anthony Joshua, who honestly is really not trying to really truly fight anybody of any substance just yet. They still think he's very young in his career, even though he's a champion. And so they're kind of moving him around very strategically. Once I think that gets either that gets cleared out, or the fans call for a total devaluing of the belts, because, if you're not, looking to unify the championship, because we want one person, one face, one name, one champion. If the fans are able to kind of devalue the belts and say, look, we know, you know what I mean? Because in my opinion, I honestly do not feel that. I think that there are 3 top heavyweights in the sport, and Anthony Joshua is not one of them. I think Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, and Luis Ortiz are the 3 top. I think those are the A-level heavyweights. I don't think that Anthony Joshua is the A-level. I think Anthony Joshua is a B-level fighter. And I say that because he's never fought an A-level opponent, where you have Wilder, who's fought 2 A-level opponents with Tyson Fury and Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz has fought an A-level opponent who is Deontay Wilder, and Tyson Fury has fought 2 A-level opponents who was Deontay Wilder, and then let's not forget Tyson Fury dethroned Vladimir Klitschko. So I don't think that and he defeated Vladimir Klitschko when he was still in his reign. He took the belts from Vladimir Klitschko. Anthony Joshua came back 2 years later and fought Vladimir Klitschko after a 2-year layoff, and he had already lost to Tyson Fury. He didn't have any championships. He didn't have nothing, and he was 41 years old. He was an old man. So, I mean, when I kind of look at that, Anthony Joshua has not done anything, in my opinion, to break into the top tier. We know that True. Tyson Fury had all 3 of those titles. Tyson Fury went on his crack binge or his drug binge. He got stripped of his titles. You feel me? He went on his $20 million dope binge and he got stripped of his titles. And those titles landed in different places. And what Eddie Hearn, which is the promoter for Anthony Joshua, what he did and his team, what they did was they strategically went around and collected those belts. The one belt was he won from Charles Martin. Charles Martin is a light touch opponent. He's a sparring partner for somebody. He had a belt that he won because a fighter got injured. He took that from him. Also, he fought the old man Klitschko, and the WBA belt was vacant at that time, but the WBA wanted to make that belt available for the winner of that fight. A lot of people think Vladimir Klitschko still had that title. He indeed did not have that title. That title was just the sanctioning body associated that title with the fight so that the winner could get that. And then Anthony Joshua also went and got a title from Joseph Parker, who was a light touch as well, another sparring partner. But all the time he's avoided getting the WBC belt, which is held by Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, it's just real funny like that. I think the heavyweight division has potential. I also think that, these dudes, they have to fight. You know what I'm saying? They have to fight. A lot of dudes talk a lot of noise in the heavyweight division, but they're not really saying anything because they're not giving us the best fights.
Right. I get exactly what you're saying. So we're gonna, like you said, we're gonna move off of boxing. So talk about hustle and the Hustle World News.
Yes, indeed. So the Hustle World News, man, was just something that just kind of I started working with the green screen, really trying to, because I really have been concentrating on growing, via YouTube. So I just wanted to kind of do something different. And so I did the whole news setup, and I have, myself as an anchor, you know what I'm saying? And I'm usually, getting some sort of breaking news. It's usually just concentrated around one specific subject, and I'll do the breaking news, breaking news, this just in, whatever. And then I'll go to a correspondent that I created. It's a character, I'm sick like that. I got a circus going on in my head. So I created this character who's just like a hood dude, like the average everyday hood dude. You know what I'm saying? The dude that'll work on your car, you know what I'm saying? And smoke a Newport and drink a tall can, drink a double deuce. Yeah, drink a double deuce, you know what I'm saying? And just talk 14 karat bullshit. You know what I mean? And I got them uncles, bro, that smoke. And the motherfuckers don't ever let that cigarette come out their mouth. They can tell you they can read the whole Bible cover to cover, and they cigarette never come out their mouth.
The cigarette the whole time.
And it never leave the mouth.
And it never leave. You feel me? So that's kind of where Hustles was from. And Hustles is kind of just this blunt, raw, uncut character where he just gonna give it to you straight. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool, man. Everybody's kind of taking a liking to it. My subs have kind of taken a liking to it. I'm glad because it's a lot of work when you start doing that editing and you working with the green screen and doing the different overlays and, all that kind of stuff. But, man, it's cool. It just kind of started in my basement. And I actually was talking about the very first episode. I believe I was talking about the Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder negotiations, and Deontay Wilder went on a rant via Instagram, and he referred to Anthony Joshua as a coochie, the P word. And
right.
You know what I'm saying? And it went down. And so, I kind of did the breaking news and then did that and talked about the befuddled negotiations, and then I went to Hustles. And then when I went to Hustles, he was just sitting there. It was in the basement. So in my basement, I got an unfinished part of my basement. So it kind of looked like a gully. You know what I'm saying? It looks kind of gully. And, dude just started talking, and he's sitting there in the basement with a cigarette in his mouth and some sunglasses on. And I got a hat that says Hustle on it. So I'm wearing that hat. Perfectly. Yeah. And then I got a Stop Killing Us t-shirt, a t-shirt that says Stop Killing Us, of course. You know what I mean? Cause, Hustles has a vivid social consciousness. And, so I, kind of talked and did the whole thing, with Hustles reading I called him the chief social media correspondent in that episode. He's been the chief weather correspondent. I did one where Floyd Mayweather Sr. allegedly has a newborn baby. You know what I mean? Floyd Mayweather, 67 years old. He got a 3-month-old baby. And so I did this.
That's wild.
Yeah, man. So I did this. Oh, yeah, that motherfucker still shooting up the club, man. Big Floyd ain't gonna fuck with him. You know what I mean? That boy still got lead in his pencil. So, I did that episode. And in that episode, I called Hustles the chief deadbeat correspondent. You know what I'm saying? I just changed the correspondent name or whatever the case may be. And, it's gone pretty good, man. It's gone pretty good, man. That shit is wild, bro.
I noticed with the Hustle World News, you still have your usual junior personality, but it seems like you're able to really let your hair down and let your comedic side show. I know you went in on the Dazing platform. I know you went in on what's my man's name? Oscar De La Hoya. There you go. Yeah. I know you went in on Anthony Joshua, and I know the signature phrase of the Hustle World News: "Get that soft shit out of here." That's my go-to now.
Yeah, that soft shit, man. These boys, man, they be tripping. They be tripping, man. That soft shit out of here, man. Let's talk about it. It's too much. It's too much soft shit going on, man. You know what I mean?
Too much conversation.
Man, everybody get a trophy. You know what I'm saying? Everybody politically correct. You can't grab a woman by her ass no more. You know what I mean? You're going to get your ass Me Too'd and you know what I'm saying? It's just, you can't compliment a woman on her beautiful, you know what I mean, shape or her figure, and now you're gonna be in HR. Like, it's too much, man. Terry Crews out here letting motherfuckers grab his dick, like, or excuse me, his Johnson. All kind of shit going on, man. It's crazy out here, bruh. You gotta be, man.
Definitely get busy.
We gotta get back to this man shit, man. You feel me? Just a little bit.
That's refreshing though. Like to actually in this PC area to have somebody that's not afraid to step out there. That's refreshing.
And then it could fly because it's just going to come across as a character.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It just
even though the
perfect.
character could be talking real shit.
It's talking real shit, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what it is. And I got my little secret. So, you know, that Hustles be talking that shit like, hey, man, listen, motherfucker. We ain't finna be here for that bullshit. But yeah, man, I enjoy myself, man. I really do.
All the way in the mode.
I got in character. I had to break character. Shit. But yeah, man. It's just, you know, once again, it's just refreshing and it's an opportunity, you know, to say something, but, you know, it's a character, so you're not really saying it per se, I guess.
Absolutely. Before we get up out of here, I do want to talk to you. I don't know if you had a chance to see it because it literally like just broke low-key on the way here, so I haven't even had a chance to really look into it. But for what it's looking like, it looks like Cap won his collusion case. I just want to really get y'all thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like, if this is the case, if this is something that's going on, what do you think this means for Cap? I don't think he's going back to the NFL at all.
No, especially by him winning this case.
Especially by him winning this case. But what do you think as far as Cap's, you know, purpose that he was doing all this for, and really for the NFL players in general? Like, now that this is kind of really being exposed from a justice standpoint, from a legal standpoint. Like, how do y'all feel about that?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, we're gonna let you go first.
Okay. Well, first of all, it's to say he won is it's a stretch. I actually saw it, and he reached a settlement.
Yeah, I think
so yeah, to me, you know, there's a difference between actually winning your case and then reaching the settlement. Right? Yeah. So he settled it, you know what I mean? And there are a lot of different reasons why people settle. You know, they settle because, you know, they don't want the books open. They settle because, you know, they don't want to go through the process. They settle because it might be easier than to just pay the legal fees. A lot of times people settle stuff without, even being guilty, you know what I'm saying, per se. So, I mean, you know, he settled, you know what I mean? And I think that's cool, for him to move forward with his life and put this behind him. I'm kind of torn on it. I really did want him to, go through it so that we could see just how ugly this is, so that a lot of this stuff could become public information. Because there are a lot of people who are still standing in the fold with them. You know, myself included, and not that he owes me anything or he owes us anything, but just that part of me, I don't want to feel like all of this stuff that's been done, it was done in vain. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Cause you know me, the biggest thing, like I could motherfucker not talking about it on my platform. Shit, I ain't been watching football. You feel me? Like I ain't been watching football. So I just kind of hate for it to come this way, because, you know, when it's go time and you get in that mode, and I've definitely been in that mode so much. In fact, I'm not even sure if I'm going to watch NFL from here on out, only because they've communicated clearly where they stand as it relates to people that look like me. And I can't, in my mind, see giving them any of my money. But when it's go time, man, you know, you want to go all out. You know what I'm saying? You want to go all out. And so that, you know, from that standpoint, I'm kind of like, I'm kind of indifferent right now. Hopefully it's a blessing for him, and, you know, he can do what he wants to do with the rest of his life. Hell, they might even settle with, and part of the settlement might be him getting a job back in the NFL. Like, who knows?
Personally, I wouldn't even want that check. Did you want to?
No, I'll say I agree with you. I agree with him. The only way I can see this, I guess, kind of having some good resolve. Now, again, I don't know if he'll be able to pull it off. But the only way I can see this, if he took that money that he got and try to get him an NFL team, that's the only way.
I don't think the settlement was that.
No, I think he's getting paid. Well, I know, I'm saying with his other money, or a minority type of owner. But I know he got paid. Yeah,
right. Like, he did just get a big ass Nike check. So
not only that, but with that and an NFL check, he got paid pretty nice. The only reason I can see him that being okay, resolving it that way, is because now he can start to implement stuff like, y'all blackballed me from this league, but now I own one of the teams. I think that can be like the most ha fuck you type of thing. Outside of that, I'm kind of partial. I'm with you. I'm partial.
No, I'm the same way. I address it as a win, but of course, ultimately, it is definitely a settlement. as far as the change, maybe not with the actual league itself, but the people that are participating in the league, the players, and you know, the people that actually see the bullshit, the writings on the wall. Because I'm with you, Junior. Like, I didn't watch all this season. I didn't watch all last season. I didn't even catch the Super Bowl.
I didn't watch it either.
I ain't see anything. You know what I'm saying? And even having that conversation with people can get a little annoying. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I'm not telling you don't watch it. I'm telling you I'm not watching it.
Right.
I don't need to go make a Facebook post about it. I don't need to make an Instagram post about it. I'm just not watching it. I don't want to contribute my money.
Right.
But then it still becomes a conversation. But I feel like with the settlement coming forward, this definitely, it can be an eye opener for people. Because it's like, if you knew there was no collusion, if you knew that there was nothing fucked up going on behind the scenes, why settle? Why not fight this tooth and nail?
Right, because if you know you're going to win.
If you know you're going to win, and you're the NFL, you have all the money in the world.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you know you're going to win, there's no point in settling now. The only thing that Cap had was solid lawyers and a community of believers behind him.
Right.
All of that, NFL got way more money than that. So if you knew you had an opportunity to win, why not see it through all the way? Because it's not like you were going to take a loss in this situation.
Right. And this is not like it was a couple months. You know, this is an ongoing thing. So if you were going to settle, you could have did that a long time ago.
You could have settled when he first brought it up that was going to be the case. But you realize that there's some solid information out there that you don't want to get leaking because once it becomes this kind of case, it's a federal issue, which means we have access to all this shit. So that's how we end up seeing Cosby get taken down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just kind of feel like I would, let me not say I feel like, I would want this to be an eye-opening situation for all those that are involved with the NFL.
We shall see. Most certainly shall see.
Definitely want to see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Man, brother, I appreciate you coming on the show. This was a great conversation. We went well over what we thought we were going to do, which is definitely never a problem. Want to make sure that your platform does get the shine. So let the people know where they can find you, where they can find all things Junior the Truth, and let people know what you got going on.
Yes, indeed. The easiest thing to do, man, is just to go over to the website, www.JuniorTheTruth.com. It's spelled out JuniorTheTruth. And you can catch me, man. Like I said, that's the best place to catch me. We have the YouTube channel up, and it's Junior the Truth, JuniorTheTruth. There, and all of the shows and everything runs through the actual YouTube channel. So you can go there, subscribe. You can follow me everywhere via social media. Hell, you can just Google me. How about that? Just Google me, Junior the Truth, and you'll be able to find me, man. I want to say this, man. Thank you guys so much once again. I really, truly appreciate it, man. I'm honored. You know what I mean? I had this opportunity to come in and chop it up, man. It feels good. Man, continue doing the work, man, and continue grinding, man. I'm so proud of y'all, man. I really, truly am, man. And just blessings to you all moving forward, man. And we'll be sure to chop it up on the back end, man. And I would love to have you guys over on my platform, man. And we can definitely chop it up.
Oh, I'm with it.
Yeah.
I'm always with it.
Yeah.
Kev, let people know where they can find you at.
_Hollywood Kev on Twitter. _Hollywood Kev _ on Instagram. That's where I'm at.
Hella underscores. That's Kev's new nickname. Hella underscores.
Hey, man, Cat's got the name, so I gotta make it mine.
That's true. At Big Los IG on IG. Of course, you can follow me on Snapchat if you want. Don't really snap all like that. You can follow the Noize Podcast at the Noize Podcast.
So you giving out your Snap now?
Well, I gave it out like a few episodes ago, too.
I thought you took a hiatus.
I'm on and off as long as no weird shit happens. You know what I'm saying? You'll know when I stop giving it out, some weird shit didn't happen again.
Okay, I got you.
At the Noize Podcast on the big three, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And of course, you can follow everything Beat Network on BeatNetworkOnline.com. We haven't shot this out in a while, but you can also listen to the Noize Podcast on Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, YouTube. Like, it's a bunch of different platforms that you can
wherever you can stream shit.
If you can stream something, then you can find
you
us.
Can find us.
Subtitle. We're still working on that.
Yeah. Cut the check, Jay.
Exactly. But getting back to Big Cal, man, we appreciate it, bro. We really look forward to when we get a chance to hop on your platform. Absolutely. And, you know, it's too easy, man. It's just a bunch of young gentlemen chopping it up, you know, getting in some good conversation. I think that's exactly what we delivered, was very good conversation. So I appreciate you for coming on, man. It's been a long time. You got to come out to Vegas, because we got to treat this city like how it's supposed to be treated. So you got to let me know.
Oh, Lord. We'll do, bro. We'll do, man. Yes, indeed.
Yes, sir. Much appreciated. So Junior the Truth, make sure y'all follow him. As always, we appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, we appreciate the support. And as always, it's Big Los.
Hollywood Kev.
It's the Noize.